The first reported experience of men in black happened sometime in the early 20th century within the United States. The men in black typically visit either those who have witnessed a UFO or those who are claiming to study cases of UFOs. The men in black will show up to these individuals' homes and scare them into silence. The men in black are described as tall, slim, pale-skinned men who have no emotions or facial expressions, and are sometimes called, quote, otherworldly. Today we will be talking about 4 popular cases of people having encountered the men in black.
Personally, I believe in aliens, and I think UFO. I don't believe in
Well,
all
okay, well, no, well, what's your definition of an alien, though? Because do I
somebody.
believe that there are like micro being little germs on a different planet? Yes. Technically, that's an alien. Do I believe that they're flying saucers and little green dudes? No, I don't.
Okay, that's fair. I believe in UFOs and aliens, but I don't think every fucking case is believable.
I mean, yeah. I believe, so I can remember. What was the question?
Never mind. Let's just go into the
No,
first
no,
case.
what was the
Let's just go.
question?
No, no,
I
we're
want to
done.
answer. I
All
want to
right.
answer.
Our first case comes from Albert Bender. Bender was a former member of the U.S. Air Force who turned into a UFO hobbyist. Bender lived in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and in 1952 he organized the International Flying Saucer Bureau, the IFSB, whose purpose was to study UFOs. With over 600 members worldwide, the organization was considered a success, with a newspaper being published weekly and was read by people all over the world. However, in late 1953, Bender was visited at his home by 3 men wearing black suits. The men came to scare Bender into ceasing his work on UFOs. Bender, believing these men to possibly be otherworldly, closed the IFSB with one final message in the last paper reading, quote, "We advise those engaged in saucer work to please be very cautious," end quote. With that final message, Bender closed the IFSB. It was reported that Bender had stopped eating and became very ill after the encounter. He didn't tell anybody about his encounter with the men in black until nearly a decade later.
I think, I think it's just men. Like he didn't describe them as being alien-like or whatever. He
Hmm.
literally just said they were men wearing black suits that threatened him.
Yeah, true. But they could also just be dudes messing with him.
That is true. And
Um,
becoming ill after not eating for 3 consecutive days isn't extraterrestrial or alien like or unexplainable. It's pretty explainable.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know how credible that is. It's
Okay.
interesting though.
Yeah.
Our next case is from Robert Richardson. In 1967 in Toledo, Ohio, Robert Richardson was driving on a road at night when he suddenly drove into a UFO in the middle of the road. As soon as he collided with it, the UFO vanished, only leaving a piece of metal which Robert took home. A few weeks later, Robert was reportedly visited by 2 men wearing black suits asking for the piece of metal. Richardson told the men he gave it away for testing. When the men realized he didn't have it, they threatened to hurt his wife if he didn't give it to them. The men then left and were never seen by Richardson again.
Well, do you have a history on Richardson?
No, no.
No.
I think this story is a load of horse shit.
Yeah. I mean, he could have just been drunk.
True. I mean, I've never heard of somebody crashing into a UFO.
No.
The fact that the men came and threatened to hurt his wife if he didn't give them the medal, and then they just left and were never seen again. Like, that's not
Yeah,
being
he
very.
never gave him the medal.
Nope. They're not being very thorough.
Like he definitely got in a car crash, right? And some dudes probably came to him.
I mean, the thing is like, there's no record of it, though. It's 1967. Like, they probably didn't even have fucking seatbelts back then.
And they didn't.
For all we know, he probably flew out the window, hit his head really hard, and said that he crashed into an alien spaceship.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah.
I don't know. I just think it. I think it's. I don't think it's real. I don't think it happened.
I agree.
Our third case is from Herbert Hopkins. Hopkins was a successful physician who had an interest in UFOs and extraterrestrials. On a September night in 1976, Hopkins was home alone at his house in Old Orchard Beach, Maine. He was studying a UFO encounter when he received a phone call from a man claiming to be part of the New Jersey UFO organization. The man asked Hopkins if he could come over to his home to study a UFO case, to which Hopkins agreed to. When Hopkins went to the front door to turn on the porch light, he could see that the man was already walking up his steps, which made no sense because it hadn't even been 30 seconds after he hung up the phone. When he let the man inside, he was suddenly unnerved by the man's strange appearance. The man was tall, slim, with perfectly smooth, unnaturally pale skin. He was bald and had no hair anywhere on his body. He wore a black suit and a derby. The only color on himself was his bright red lips. Hopkins invited the man to sit down, and when they started talking, Hopkins noted that the man had no expression in his voice, almost like a robot, and sat as still as a statue, with the only movement being from his lips. And when he did move, he wiped his hands over his mouth and smeared something red all over his cheek. Hopkins quickly realized this man was wearing lipstick, and that his mouth was a perfect slit with no upper or lower lips. Suddenly, the man asked Hopkins to remove a penny which sat in his pocket, telling Hopkins to, quote, watch the penny. To Hopkins' horror, as the penny sat in his hand, he watched it turn from a copper color to a silver. Then it started to become blurry, and then all at once it vanished, leaving nothing in his hand. The man then told Hopkins to cease his investigation on the UFO case and to destroy all the information he had about it, or else he would hold the same fate that the coin did. Then the man walked out, never to be seen again.
But I do not believe this story at all, because I don't think that if somebody came to my house and looking like a shitty version of a human and made a fucking coin disappear in my hand, like no magic trick or anything, and said that if I didn't stop talking about UFOs and aliens, that I would also disappear like that coin, I think the last thing I would do is run out and tell everybody about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. No, I would probably tell a fuck ton of people about it.
I don't think you would.
I definitely would.
Okay, if
I
there's
would I would tell you, I would tell my wife,
Mhm.
and I would tell like close friends. I would be like, because one, I would also be scared that I'm like schizophrenic. So I probably would tell a fuck ton of people, and I'd be like, I think I'm going crazy.
That is true. But like he told it like he was literally visited by an alien. He wasn't
Yeah.
telling it like I'm crazy or whatever. He was like, guys, you'll never believe this. I'm fucking crazy. He was like, oh man, I just got visited by somebody who made a fucking coin disappear in my hand.
Yeah. I don't know.
Our final case is one of the most famous encounters. In October of 2008, a manager of a hotel in Ontario, Canada, witnessed UFO activity over the Niagara River, which he reportedly told many people about. 2 weeks later, two men wearing black suits came into the hotel and asked staff where the manager was. The men were described as tall, pale, and slim, and both looked very identical. They were void of any emotions or expressions. The employees that talked to the men felt as if the men could read their thoughts. Luckily for the manager, he was not at work that day, and after realizing the manager wasn't there, the men began asking other employees about the UFO encounter the manager had witnessed and then left, never to be seen again. A few days later, when the manager had come back, he was able to find CCTV footage in the hotel's main lobby where the men had entered. Here's what was caught.
They just look like Jews.
Jews. Well, I mean, look, hang on. There's a part where there's a regular person walking right next to them, and you can see how tall they are compared to that person.
Yeah. Yeah, they are pretty tall.
I don't know. I just think, I don't know. Maybe they were just regular men in black. Maybe they were looking for the hotel manager for some other reason. I do not think they were aliens.
No, I don't think they're aliens, but I
Yeah.
do think
But the thing
it's very
is that
suspicious.
these people were saying that they were otherworldly. They didn't specifically say they were aliens, but they said as if they could read their thoughts and they were fucking void of any emotion. Well, I guess humans can be void of emotions. But I don't know. The way they were describing it was as if they were aliens. But I would not believe that, even
Yeah,
if I
I
believe
don't
this was
think that's
real.
true. But also, I feel like if you're an FBI agent, like if they are like the like movie Men in Black, where they're people,
Mm.
I can't imagine dressing like that and trying to stay like low profile, but you're dressed in a
Yeah,
fucking like
yeah,
full suit with a
yeah.
with a what was it called? Tiny hat.
That was the other guy. These
Yeah,
guys were
but
wearing
they were wearing
fedoras.
them.
These guys were wearing
Oh, they
fedoras.
were. Whatever. Anyways, it looks really out of place.
Yeah, I don't know.
So who are the Men in Black? Are they from this world? Could they themselves be aliens? Are they even real? Or are most encounters just made up by people looking to have an interesting story?
I believe Albert Bender, because like I said, Albert Bender was visited by regular ass men who just said stop talking about or stop doing this.
Yeah,
Maybe they were
yeah,
like looking into like plane crashes or stuff from the military that was like they thought was UFOs, and they didn't want people like
yeah. And
posting the news
a
about
lot
it.
of yeah, you're not supposed to do that. You can't poke around like crashed military grade
Yeah,
shit.
I mean these people they have a newsletter every week. They're definitely poking around everything they see.
Yeah, that's why I think the majority of these cases are like dudes like just poking around like actual military equipment, and they're like, "Hey, don't post this on your Facebook page, asshole." Like it's
Yeah,
supposed to be a secret.
yeah. So I believe Albert Bender, but I do not believe any of the other ones. Maybe the one in
Yeah.
Canada in the hotel was
The
real.
camera, the yeah, that one was weird. It's a weird it's weird footage to have and to be released too.
Hmm. But the guy running into the UFO on the side of the road, stupid.
Yeah,
Did not happen. I
yeah.
can,
That's every other UFO viewing.
yeah,
I was all alone. No one was around me, but I swear
yeah. I swear it happened.
there
And
was a UFO.
they dropped a piece of metal. Oh, where is this metal? Oh, I don't have it anymore.
I'm not going to show you the medal.
I don't have it anymore. I gave it away for testing and
Trust
never
me.
got it back.
Trust me, I still have it.